My girlfriend ditched me on my birthday for her ex, smeared me as a controlling psycho, but one file shattered her facade in a single night. I'm standing in my kitchen, the sharp tang of rosemary and garlic filling the air, a $150 ribeye sizzling in the pan. The Seattle skyline sparkles through the floor-to-ceiling windows of my 12th floor apartment, the Space Needle glowing like a beacon against the indigo dusk. It's my 32nd birthday, and I've got everything planned to a T. A bottle of Napa Valley Cabernet chilling on the counter, a playlist of smooth jazz humming through the Bluetooth speaker, and a table set with daisies I picked up from Pike Place Market this morning. I'm not usually a romantic, but tonight I'm pulling out all the stops. 3 years with Lily Harper, and I'm still trying to prove I'm enough for her. But as I flip the steak, the front door swings open, and there she is. Dressed to kill in a tight black dress, her blonde hair cascading in perfect waves, eyes glued to her phone. "Ethan, babe, happy birthday," she says, not looking up. "Noah's having a meltdown. Work stuff. I gotta run." Her words hit me like a sucker punch. I freeze, spatula in hand, the sizzle of the steak mocking me. Noah, her ex, again, on my goddamn birthday. My name's Ethan Carter, and I'm just a regular guy trying to keep it together in a city that never slows down. I'm 32, a sales manager for a medical software company, pulling in $85,000 a year. Decent enough to afford this apartment with its sleek hardwood floors and view of Puget Sound, where ferries glide like ghosts across the water at night. I'm not saving lives, but the software I sell helps hospitals run smoother, and that's something I can hang my hat on. I've been at the same company for 7 years, grinding my way up from cold-calling reps to managing a team. I'm the guy who shows up early, pays his bills on time, and remembers everyone's birthdays. My friends call me Grandpa Ethan because I like my routines. Gym 3 times a week, pick up basketball on Fridays at the community center in Queen Anne, where the court smells like sweat and pine cleaner, and late-night gaming sessions on my PC when I need to unwind. Every month, I drive an hour south to Olympia to see my parents, where Mom's rose garden blooms like a postcard and Dad's grilling steaks in their backyard shaded by towering cedars. Growing up, our old Craftsman house in Tacoma was a war zone. Mom and Dad screaming about overdue bills, the fridge sometimes empty except for ketchup and beer. Dad pulled himself together, became an accountant, but those lean years wired me to crave stability like oxygen. I met Lily at a backyard barbecue at my buddy Ryan's place in Ballard 3 summers ago. The air was thick with the scent of grilled burgers and blooming wildflowers from the garden, fairy lights strung across the cedar fence twinkling like fireflies. Lily was a vision, 27 all, golden hair and effortless charm, laughing with a crowd like she owned the place. She worked part-time at a high-end furniture boutique in downtown Seattle, but her real hustle was being a lifestyle influencer, with 20,000 Instagram followers drooling over her curated posts of coffee shops, yoga retreats, and designer outfits. I thought she was out of my league, standing there in her sundress, sipping a local IPA. But somehow we ended up talking over a weathered picnic table, joking about Ryan's questionable taste in craft beer. The chemistry was electric, like a spark you feel in your bones. She handed me her Instagram handle instead of her number. First red flag, but I was too smitten to care. We set a date for the next weekend at a waterfront cafe, where seagulls swooped over the docks and the air smelled of salt and espresso. That first year was a whirlwind. Lily was everything my past relationships weren't. Spontaneous, vibrant, like a burst of color in my black and white world. She dragged me on adventures I'd never have tried. Hiking the misty trails of Mount Rainier, where fog curled around pine trees like a ghost. Dinners at trendy restaurants along the waterfront, where candlelight flickered on her face. Parties with her artsy friends in lofts with exposed brick walls and vinyl records spinning. My apartment, with its gray sofa and oak bookshelf, felt alive with her around. She'd sprawl on the rug, sketching ideas for her next post, her laughter filling the space like music. After 15 months, she moved in, her abstract paintings leaning against my walls, her expensive skincare bottles crowding the bathroom counter. I thought we were building something real. But then Noah crept into the picture. Her ex, 30, some tech bro who always seemed to be in crisis. It started small, a late-night call she'd take in the bedroom, her voice muffled through the door. A text she'd hide when I glanced over. She said he was struggling, panic attacks, his mom's cancer, you name it. He just needs a friend who gets him, she'd say, her eyes soft with that convincing sincerity. I'm not the jealous type, so I bought it. I mean, who wants to be the asshole who tells his girlfriend she can't help a friend? But it wasn't just once. Noah's emergencies had a knack for popping up right when we had plans. A dinner I'd booked weeks in advance? Noah's having a breakdown. A weekend trip to the San Juan Islands, where I'd reserved a cabin overlooking the orca-filled waters? Noah's mom's in the hospital? My company's product launch party, where I was supposed to schmooze with the higher-ups? Noah needed her for coffee to talk him off the ledge. I started feeling like I was dating both of them, like Noah was the third wheel who kept stealing the driver's seat. When it was just us, things could still be good. We'd have nights on the balcony, wrapped in a blanket, watching the city lights dance on the water, her head on my shoulder. Those moments kept me hooked, made me think we could get back to how it was. But they got rarer, drowned out by her phone buzzing with Noah's latest drama. I paid 70% of the rent, $2,100 out of $3,000, because her influencer gigs were unstable. Meanwhile, her closet was bursting with Gucci dresses, Chanel bags, and Lululemon sets she wore once for a photo. It's an investment in my brand, she'd say when I asked why she couldn't chip in more. You don't get how much pressure I'm under to keep up appearances. Her bathroom looked like a Sephora exploded. $300 serums, $200 creams, all gifted by brands, while I covered the electric bill and Wi-Fi. I'd look at my bank account, dwindling faster than it should, and wonder how the math wasn't mathing. But love makes you stupid. You see red flags and call them decorations. I tried talking to her, more times than I can count. Lily, it feels like Noah's always the priority, I'd say, sitting on the couch, the city skyline mocking me through the window. She'd roll her eyes, toss her hair. That's not fair, Ethan. He's going through a rough patch. You want me to abandon a friend? I'd push back. It's been a rough patch for 2 years. She'd turn it on me. Wow, so you're trying to control who I see? That's toxic, Ethan. She'd storm off, leaving me second-guessing myself, wondering if I was the problem. Gaslighting 101, but I didn't have the vocabulary for it then. I just knew something was rotting in our relationship, like fruit left too long in the sun. By year 3, we were roommates who occasionally slept together. She was always on her phone, posting mirror selfies in outfits I'd partly funded, or rushing out to meet Noah. Her Instagram was a shrine to her perfect life. Brunch at rooftop bars, yoga poses at sunrise, captions about living your truth. Meanwhile, I was the idiot footing the bill for her truth. I kept hoping she'd snap out of it, that we'd get back to those early days when she'd look at me like I was her world. But hope's a dangerous drug. Then came my birthday. I'd been planning it for weeks, not because 32 is some milestone, but because it was a rare day we both had free. I took the day off, spent a small fortune on ribeye from a butcher in Capitol Hill, where the streets buzz with hipsters and coffee shops. I bought daisies, cleaned the apartment until the hardwood gleamed, even ironed a tablecloth, something I hadn't done since, well, ever. I was humming along to Miles Davis, picturing us laughing over wine, maybe rekindling whatever we'd lost. Then Lily walked in, already dolled up, her heels clicking on the floor like a countdown. "Noah's having a meltdown," she said, typing furiously on her phone. "Work stuff. I gotta go. Don't wait up." She barely glanced at me, her voice casual, like she was canceling a coffee date. Not my birthday. I stood there, spatula in hand, the steak hissing like it was laughing at me. "Lily, it's my birthday," I said, my voice tighter than I meant. "We've had this planned for weeks." She looked up, gave me that pout she used on her followers. Half pity, half annoyance. "I know, babe, and I'm super sorry, but Noah's in a really bad place. You get it, right? We'll do something tomorrow." Promise I opened my mouth to argue, but she was already halfway out the door, her perfume lingering like a ghost. My phone buzzed a second later. A text. "Noah needs me. Don't wait up." No sorry, no happy birthday, just a command, like I was her Uber driver, not her boyfriend of 3 years. Something inside me shattered. Not my heart, my patience. 3 years of Noah's emergencies, of canceled plans, of me playing the supportive chump while she ran to him. I stared at the half-cooked steak, the flowers drooping in their vase, and a weird calm washed over me. You know that moment when you're done? Not angry, not sad, just done? I turned off the stove, silenced the jazz, and walked to the bedroom. My bedroom. My name on the lease. My money paying most of the rent. Her side of the closet was a designer explosion. Gucci, Chanel, Prada, stuff she swore was essential for her brand. A $2,500 bag she bought last month sat on her dresser, the same month she said she could only swing $500 for rent instead of her usual $900. The math hit me like a freight train. I'd been bankrolling her Instagram fantasy while she played me for a fool. I opened my Amazon app, ordered 3 large suitcases with same-day delivery, God bless Prime, and started packing. Not angrily, not carelessly. I folded her dresses, wrapped her jewelry in tissue, tucked her skincare between sweaters so nothing would break. I'm not a monster. I found receipts. $1,500 at Nordstrom, $800 at Sephora, all while she couldn't afford her share of the bills. I took photos of everything, proof I wasn't trashing her stuff. Noah's address was still in her Maps favorites on our shared iPad. How convenient. I wrote a note. "Since you chose Noah on my birthday, your stuff deserves to be with you. We're done." I called a courier service, shelled out $200, and watched them load 3 years of her life into a van. "Handle with care," I told the driver, my voice steady. "Very valuable cargo." I sat in my half-empty apartment, the city lights blinking outside, and ordered takeout from a greasy burger joint Lily always called too basic for her aesthetic. For the first time in months, I could breathe. The silence was glorious. No buzzing phone, no Noah emergencies, just me and a double cheeseburger. I changed all my passwords, Netflix, Hulu, even the iPad. I cracked open a beer, stared at the water shimmering beyond my window, and felt lighter than I had in years. 3 hours later, my phone lit up. An unknown number. Noah's voice. Tight and pissed. Ethan, what the hell, man? Lily's outside my place with 3 suitcases, bawling her eyes out. She says you kicked her out. I could hear her in the background, sobbing like she was auditioning for an Oscar. Did I kick her out, Noah? Or did she ditch me on my birthday for your latest crisis? I said, calm as the Puget Sound at dawn. I just sent her stuff where she wanted to be. You figure it out. He sputtered, called me unhinged, but I cut him off. You know what's unhinged? My girlfriend running to you every time you snap your fingers. She made her choice. Deal with it. I hung up, blocked his number, and leaned back on the couch. The city hummed outside, indifferent, and I smiled. For the first time in 3 years, I felt free, but I should have known Lily wouldn't go quietly. By midnight, my phone was a war zone. 47 texts, 19 voicemails, a symphony of manipulation. Ethan, how could you do this? Click. You're going to regret this when I tell everyone what you did. Click. Babe, I'm sorry. Can we talk? Click. This is illegal. I'm calling the cops. Her voice swung from tears to rage to fake sweetness, like she was cycling through personalities. I didn't respond. I put my phone on silent, crawled into bed, and slept like a baby, the sound of distant fairy horns lulling me into peace. The next morning, I woke to a notification from Instagram. Lily had posted a story, a selfie in what looked like a bathroom, her eyes glistening with tears, the Seattle skyline faint through a window. Sometimes the people you trust most hurt you the deepest. The caption was pure theater, vague enough to dodge accountability, but loaded enough to paint me as the villain. Her followers ate it up. OMG, who did this to you? You're so strong, girl. Men are trash. I didn't take the bait. I screenshotted everything, just in case. Then my mom called, laughing from her rose-filled garden in Olympia. Lily called me, said you threw her out with nothing but her shoes. Can you believe the nerve? Mom's voice was all warmth and skepticism. I told her that's not my son. Maybe she should check her own choices. I grinned, picturing Mom sipping tea among her flowers, shutting Lily down with her quiet steel. Then Emma, Lily's sister, called. Ethan, what's going on? Lily's telling everyone you went nuts and dumped her stuff on the street. I explained the birthday betrayal, the suitcases, the courier receipt. Emma sighed. She's at a Starbucks in Fremont with 3 suitcases. Noah's girlfriend is freaking out. She's got nowhere to go. I leaned against my kitchen counter, the morning light glinting off the sound. She makes $70,000 a year, Emma. She can afford a hotel, or call one of those guys heart-eyeing her posts. Emma tried to guilt me, then reason with me, but I held firm. She chose Noah. I just made it official. She hung up, frustrated, but I could tell she knew I wasn't the bad guy. Lily wasn't done. By day 3, she was in full attack mode. She showed up at my building, screaming in the lobby, where glass walls reflected the choppy waves outside. You stole my stuff, Ethan! My Cartier bracelet's gone! She yelled at the concierge, who looked like he'd rather be anywhere else. I went downstairs, kept my cool. Everything you owned was packed and sent to Noah's. I've got receipts. He signed for it. She lunged at me, mascara streaking but stopped short. I'm calling the cops, she spat. I pulled out my phone. Go ahead. I've got photos of every item and camera footage of you threatening me. Want to roll the dice? Her face froze. That calculating look I knew too well. The building manager showed up, threatened to call security, and she stormed out, screaming, "This isn't over." I sent a cease and desist email to her, CCing her parents in their Portland Craftsman house, where cedar trees shaded the porch. Her dad, a soft-spoken guy who'd once helped me change a tire, replied privately, "I'm sorry, Ethan. We're trying to talk sense into her." I felt a pang for him. He didn't deserve this drama. I wrote back, "I never wanted this, but I couldn't keep being disrespected. Take care." He responded, "Understood. Be well." I thought that might be the end, but Lily went nuclear. She posted a tearful Instagram video claiming I'd controlled her life, isolated her from friends, and left her in fear. No direct accusations of violence, just enough innuendo to let her followers fill in the blanks. She launched a GoFundMe, Help Lily Rebuild After Escaping Abuse. Goal, $20,000. She claimed I'd stolen her irreplaceable family heirlooms and designer clothes worth $40,000. Her fans donated $3,000 in 2 days, eating up her sob story. She even called my boss, saying I'd used company software to stalk her. Thank God I'd warned him about her drama. He told her to take it elsewhere. She tried HR next. Same result. Then she showed up at my parents' Sunday dinner, waltzing into their dining room, where the smell of roasted chicken and apple pie hung heavy. "Ethan's lying about me," she sobbed. "I just need my grandma's necklace back." Dad, calm as ever, said, "Lily, we know what happened. You left him on his birthday for another man. Leave. Now." She did, but not before promising more chaos. I stayed silent online, documenting everything for legal purposes. My friends split down the middle. Half bought her story, half knew her too well to fall for it. Ryan, who'd hosted the barbecue where we met, called to warn me. "She's saying you hit her, man." I shut that down, but heads up. My stomach churned. This wasn't just a breakup. It was war. I installed a Ring doorbell, changed my locks, and sank into my couch. The city lights mocking me. Was I the idiot for thinking we could have worked? Or was she the mastermind, playing me from day one? Then, 3 weeks after I sent her stuff, a LinkedIn message changed everything. Chloe, Noah's girlfriend, wanted to meet. We sat at a quirky cafe in Fremont, surrounded by murals of flying fish and the smell of fresh roasted coffee. "I left Noah," she said, sliding her phone across the table. "Lily's been sleeping with him the whole time you were together." Screenshots lit up the screen. Lily laughing about how she'd fooled me, how I paid for her dinners while she hooked up with Noah, how she'd almost conned me into co-signing a car loan. "The GoFundMe's a scam," Chloe said. "She pawned her grandma's jewelry for a Vegas trip last year. Half her designer stuff's knockoffs from some shady site." My blood ran cold, but I wasn't shocked. It was like I'd known all along, buried under layers of denial. "Why tell me?" I asked. Chloe's eyes hardened. "Because she's toxic. She tried to ruin my life, too. Someone's got to stop her." I sat there, the cafe's chatter fading, and felt something shift. Not anger, clarity. Lily hadn't just broken my heart. She'd played me for a fool, and I'd let her. But not anymore. I thanked Chloe, drove home through streets lined with autumn maples, and started planning. This wasn't over. Not by a long shot. Lily thought she could bury me with lies, but I had the truth, and I was ready to fight back. The Seattle rain began to fall, drumming against my windows, and I knew one thing for sure. She'd picked the wrong guy to mess with. The Seattle rain was relentless, hammering my apartment windows like it wanted to break in. I sat on my couch, the city lights blurring through the downpour, my phone buzzing like a hornet's nest. Lily's texts, 50 and counting, piled up, a manic playlist of desperation, rage, and crocodile tears. "Ethan, How could you do this to me? Buzz. You'll regret this when I tell everyone what a monster you are. Buzz. Babe, I'm so sorry. Can we just talk? Her voicemails were worse. 19 of them. Her voice swinging from sobs to screams like she was auditioning for a soap opera. I didn't reply. I sipped my coffee, the bitter taste grounding me, and stared at the half-empty apartment. Her abstract paintings were gone, her skincare empire no longer cluttering my bathroom. The silence was deafening, but it felt like freedom. I'd sent her stuff to Noah's place in Capitol Hill, where the streets glowed with neon signs and hipster bars. 3 suitcases packed with care, delivered with a $200 courier fee and a note. You chose Noah on my birthday. Your stuff belongs with you. I thought that was the end of it. I was wrong. It started with a call from an unknown number at 2 a.m. Noah's voice, sharp and pissed, cut through the quiet. Ethan, what the actual hell? Lily's outside my apartment with 3 suitcases crying like a banshee. She says you kicked her out. I could hear her in the background, her sobs theatrical, a performance honed for her 20,000 Instagram followers. I leaned back in bed, the city's hum filtering through my window. Did I kick her out, Noah? Or did she ditch me on my birthday for your latest emergency? My voice was calm, but my heart pounded. I sent her stuff where she wanted to be. You deal with it. He sputtered, called me unhinged, said I was acting like a psycho. You know what psycho, Noah? My girlfriend running to you every time you snap your fingers. She made her choice. You're it. I hung up, blocked his number, and felt a rush, like I'd just slammed the door on 3 years of bullshit. The rain kept falling, washing the city clean, and I slept better than I had in months. By morning, Lily's counterattack was in full swing. I woke to an Instagram story notification. Her face, tear-streaked, framed against a melancholy Puget Sound sunset, the water shimmering like liquid gold. Sometimes the people you trust most hurt you the deepest. No names, just enough vagueness to make me the villain. Her followers ate it up, flooding the comments with, "Who hurt you, queen? And you're so strong, girl." I didn't take the bait. I screenshotted it, my lawyer friend's advice echoing, "Document everything." Then my phone rang. Mom, calling from her rose garden in Olympia, where the air smelled of lavender and fresh-cut grass. "Ethan, you won't believe this," she said, laughing. "Lily called me, said you threw her out with nothing but her shoes, said you snapped. I told her that's not my son. Maybe she should look in the mirror." I grinned, picturing Mom in her sun hat, sipping tea among her flowers, shutting Lily down with that quiet fire. "Thanks, Mom. She's spinning a story. I'm handling it." She paused, her voice softening. "You okay, honey?" I looked out at the rain-slicked city, the ferries cutting through the mist. "Getting there," I said. Then Emma, Lily's sister, called. Her voice was heavy, like she was carrying the weight of Lily's chaos. "Ethan, what the hell's going on? Lily's telling everyone you went nuts and dumped her stuff on the street. She's at a Starbucks in Fremont with 3 suitcases, freaking out." I leaned against my kitchen counter, the morning light glinting off the sound. "Emma, she ditched me on my birthday for Noah. I packed her stuff, carefully, and sent it to his place. Courier receipt says he signed for it. She's not homeless. She makes 70 grand a year. She can figure it out." Emma sighed, long and tired. "Noah's girlfriend is losing it. Lily's got nowhere to go." I gripped my coffee mug, the ceramic warm in my hands. "She's got options, Emma. Those guys hard-eyeing her posts can play hero. I'm done." Emma tried guilt, then reason, even offered to mediate. I didn't budge. She chose Noah. I just made it official. She hung up, frustrated, but I heard a flicker of understanding in her voice. She knew Lily's game. Lily didn't stop. By day 3, she was in my building's lobby, the glass walls reflecting the choppy waves of the sound. The concierge, a guy named Marcus who always smelled like Old Spice, called me down. "She's causing a scene, man." I threw on a hoodie and went downstairs. Lily was a mess, mascara streaking, designer sweatpants wrinkled, screaming at Marcus. "He stole my stuff. My Cartier bracelet's gone." She saw me and lunged, her nails inches from my face before she stopped herself. "You had no right, Ethan." I kept my cool, arms crossed. "Everything you owned was packed and sent to Noah's. I've got receipts." He signed for it. "You're not on my lease, Lily. You left." Her eyes narrowed, that calculating look I'd seen too many times. "I'm calling the cops for theft." Marcus looked like he wanted to bolt. I pulled out my phone, voice steady as the rain outside. "Go ahead. I've got photos of every item, time-stamped, and camera footage of you threatening me. Want to try it?" Her face froze, the bravado cracking. Marcus chimed in. "Ma'am, you need to leave or I'm calling security." She stormed out, screaming, "This isn't over!" I watched her silhouette disappear into the rain, my heart pounding but my resolve ironclad. I went back upstairs, the city's pulse thrumming through my windows, and drafted a cease and desist email. I CC'd her parents, who lived in a cedar-shaded craftsman in Portland, where the air smelled of pine and wood smoke. "Lily, your actions constitute harassment. Any further contact, attempts to enter my building, or false claims about me will result in legal action. I have documentation and video evidence." I hit send, my hands shaking slightly. Her dad replied hours later, his tone heavy with regret. "Ethan, I'm sorry it's come to this. We're trying to talk sense into her." I pictured him in his study, surrounded by books and old jazz records, a man caught in his daughter's storm. I wrote back, "I never wanted this, but I couldn't keep being disrespected. Take care." He responded, "Understood. Be well." For a moment, I felt bad for him. He didn't raise her to be this way. But Lily was a hurricane, and I wasn't her shelter anymore. I thought that might slow her down. I was naive. By the end of the week, Lily went full scorched earth. She posted a tearful Instagram video, her voice quivering like she'd rehearsed it in a mirror. "I've been silent about the abuse I endured because I was scared," she said, a single tear rolling down her cheek, the Seattle skyline glowing ominously behind her. "He controlled my life, isolated me from friends, made me live in fear." She never said Ethan or hit, but the implication was clear. Her followers lost it. "You're so brave, Lily. Leave that loser," pouring sympathy and cash into a GoFundMe she launched. "Help Lily rebuild after escaping abuse." Goal, $20,000. She claimed I'd stolen her irreplaceable family heirlooms and designer clothes worth $40,000. In 2 days, she raised $3,000, her sob story spreading like wildfire. I sat in my apartment, the rain now a soft drizzle, and felt my stomach twist. This wasn't just a breakup, it was character assassination. She didn't stop there. She called my boss, Tom, a no-nonsense guy who liked his coffee black and his meetings short. "Ethan's been using company software to stalk me," she told him. I'd warned Tom about her drama the day after the birthday fiasco, so he shut her down. "This is a personal matter, Ms. Harper. Don't call again." She tried HR next. Same result. Thank God for my foresight. Those bridges stayed unburned. Then she showed up at my parents' house during their Sunday dinner, the smell of roasted chicken and apple pie filling their cozy dining room in Olympia. Mom told me later, her voice equal parts amused and annoyed, that Lily just walked in like she still belonged. She was sobbing, Ethan, saying you stole her grandma's necklace. Your dad told her to leave, said we know you didn't do that. Dad, with his quiet menace, added, if you accuse my son of abuse again, Lily, we'll sue. My golf buddy's the best defamation lawyer in Washington. I laughed, picturing Dad at the table, his fork poised over pie, delivering that line like a mob boss. I stayed off social media, didn't engage, just kept screenshotting her posts. My friends were split. Half bought her victim act, texting me things like, dude, did you really do that? The other half, like Ryan, knew better. She's full of it, he said over beers at a dive bar in Ballard, where the jukebox played Springsteen. She's been playing you for years. I told her to stop spreading lies. But the lies kept coming. She posted old photos of bruises from a hiking trip, cropped to hide the forest backdrop, implying I'd caused them. Her captions were masterpieces of manipulation, learning to heal. Trust is hard. I felt the walls closing in, my reputation hanging by a thread. Was I the fool for trusting her? Or was she a genius, spinning this web from the start? Then, 3 weeks after the suitcase exodus, a LinkedIn message stopped me cold. Chloe, Noah's girlfriend, wanted to meet. It's important, she wrote. I suggested a cafe in Fremont, where murals of flying fish covered the walls and the air smelled of roasted coffee and rain-soaked pavement. Chloe was a graphic designer, 29, with a sharp wit and tired eyes. We sat at a corner table, the hum of espresso machines in the background. I left Noah, she said, sliding her phone across the table. Lily's been sleeping with him your entire relationship. My heart sank, but I wasn't surprised. She showed me screenshots, dozens of texts spanning 3 years. Lily to Noah. Ethan totally buys that I'm just helping you. LOL, told him you're stressed about work. He's paying for dinner tomorrow, but I'll sneak out by 9. His mom's asking about marriage. As if. Almost got him to co-sign a car loan. Then we're set. I scrolled, my hands trembling, the cafe fading around me. Every canceled plan, every emergency was a lie. She'd been laughing at me, playing me like a fiddle while I paid her rent. There's more, Chloe said, her voice low. That GoFundMe? A scam. She pawned her grandma's jewelry last year for a Vegas trip. Half her designer stuff's fake, bought from some sketchy site in China. I stared at her, the pieces clicking into place. The gaslighting, the manipulation, it all made sense. Why tell me? I asked, my voice barely above a whisper. Chloe's eyes hardened. Because she's toxic. She tried to ruin my life too. Told Noah I was cheating, said I was unstable. Someone's got to stop her. I nodded, the weight of 3 years lifting and crushing me at the same time. I wasn't crazy. I wasn't the problem. But I was pissed. I drove home through streets lined with autumn maples, their leaves a fiery red against the gray sky. The rain had stopped, leaving the city slick and reflective, like it was mirroring my thoughts. I called my lawyer friend Mia, who'd helped with the cease and desist. Send me everything, she said, her voice all business. I forwarded Chloe's screenshots, the courier receipts, and my photos of Lily's packed stuff. Mia drafted a new letter, sharp and legal, demanding Lily retract her false claims or face a defamation lawsuit. I sent it to her, CCing her parents and the GoFundMe legal team. Within hours, the GoFundMe was down, her $3,000 frozen pending review. I didn't stop there. I emailed the furniture boutique where she worked, attaching the screenshots and a link to her scam fundraiser. They valued their upscale image too much to keep a con artist on payroll. She was fired by the next day. Then I took a bigger swing. Lily had bragged for years about dodging taxes on her influencer income, getting paid through PayPal's friends and family option to avoid reporting it. "It's our little secret," she'd posted once, bold as brass. I anonymously tipped the IRS, including her own words as evidence. It felt petty, but it also felt right. She'd built her castle on lies, and I was pulling the bricks out one by one. The city sparkled outside my window, indifferent to the chaos, and I wondered if I'd gone too far. Was I becoming the villain she painted me as? Or was this just karma doing its job? Lily's next move was desperate. A text from a new number. "Ethan, please." They froze my accounts. "I can't make rent. Noah kicked me out. I just need $2,500 to get through the month. I'll pay you back." I stared at the screen, the audacity flooring me. After everything, her lies, her cheating, her smear campaign, she thought I'd bail her out? I typed one word. Understood. Then I blocked her. 2 days later, Marcus called from the lobby. "She's back, man. Crying, begging to come up." I checked the Ring doorbell feed on my phone. There she was, mascara running, clutching a cheap canvas tote instead of her usual Chanel. "He has to help me," she told Marcus. "I'm broke. My followers are turning on me. He owes me." Marcus, bless him, just shrugged. "Not his problem, ma'am." She kept pleading. "Just tell him I'm sorry. I need to talk to him." Marcus escorted her out, and I closed the app, my heart oddly still. She wasn't my problem anymore. The fallout was swift. Lily moved back to her parents' house in Portland, a far cry from her Instagram-perfect life. Her follower count tanked. 10,000 gone in a month as people sniffed out her lies. The boutique firing and IRS audit hit her hard. Mutual friends said she was couch surfing before her parents took her in. Noah dumped her after 18 days of living together. She'd tried to pull the same emergency trick with another ex, and he finally saw the pattern. Her dad emailed me, his words heavy. "We had no idea about the tax stuff. We're disappointed in her." I felt a pang for him, but I didn't reply. That chapter was closed. Chloe and I became unlikely friends. Nothing romantic, we were both too burned for that. But we'd grab coffee by Lake Union, where sailboats bobbed against the skyline. "We dodged a bullet," she'd say, laughing, her dark hair catching the breeze. I'd nod, the weight of 3 years fading with each meeting. One day, I ran into Lily at Whole Foods, the fluorescent lights harsh against the organic produce. She was in line, no makeup, hair in a messy bun, paying with an EBT card. Our eyes met for a split second. Hers flashed with shame, maybe anger, before she looked away. I kept shopping, no gloating, no satisfaction, just nothing. She was a stranger now. My life started to bloom. The apartment felt bigger, my bank account healthier. I reconnected with friends I'd neglected, like Ryan, who toasted me at that same dive bar. To growing a spine, brother. I signed up for a photography class, capturing the misty trails of Olympic National Forest, where ferns glowed emerald in the fog. And then there was Ava, the chef from my cooking class, who'd split the check on our first date and apologized up front when a work emergency canceled our second. "I'm not that girl," she said, grinning over tacos at a food truck, the air thick with cilantro and diesel. I respect your time. I nearly choked on my drink. When had anyone ever said that? We're taking it slow, but her honesty feels like a warm blanket after years in Lily's storm. Looking back, I see the red flags I ignored. The Instagram handle, the Noah emergencies, the way she made me doubt my gut. I learned to trust myself again, to call bullshit when I see it. The Seattle rain still falls, but it doesn't feel heavy anymore. It's just water, washing away the past. Lily thought she could break me, but she didn't. She taught me how strong I am. And as I stand on my balcony, watching the city lights dance on the sound, I know one thing for sure. I'm free, and I'm never going back.